Whoa. Take a listen to this next clip.
You know, with all these Epstein files that just got released, you would think that there would be outrage all across the nation. Do you see any? Where is the outrage? Maybe these Epstein files are part of the disclosure that they have been talking about for so long? I don't know, I just find it kind of odd how videos that we've been making all these years that were getting censored are now being posted on YouTube like nothing. And I'm asking myself, why is it that that's so? Could it be possible that they're letting everyone make their videos, speak their mind, so that way they can track everyone down? I mean, you have Project Pogo and Project Cypher. If you don't know about them, look into it. Like, how much longer are we going to be able to do everything that we're doing on this platform before everything gets... I'm just asking. Isn't it fucked up and so funny how anyone with even half a brain cell reading through those documents can see that all of those crimes were all committed under the Abrahamic faith. The very same ones that you defend till your face turns blue, like it's the word of God.
Creatures who deceive the humans in the name of God were reptile-like aliens called reptilians. The reptilians liked to eat the animals of Earth and occasionally enjoyed eating human flesh too.
They brainwashed the Earthlings by using the name of God, when their true intentions were to invade and overtake the Earth.
It's time for all of us to deconstruct, break the spell, unite, and do what the fuck we gotta do, y'all. Now that Project 2025 has been solidified and Project Esther is going to clamp down on the truth that we're revealing to the world, all I have to say is that time is running out and we need to figure something out, y'all. There's a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of lies, a lot of misinformation, a lot of distractions. But in all of that, if you have no clue what I'm talking about with Project Cypher and Project Pogo, watch this video right here and then you'll see what I'm saying. If you look up the 10 steps of genocide, it seems we probably might be in step 8 or step 9. A part of those steps, everyone is now desensitized to any information. Maybe that is the case. That is the reason why no one gives a flying fuck about what these Epstein files are about. On a psychological level, they knew this was the right time because everyone's attention span is already shot. Am I reaching? What do y'all think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Follow for more.
Well, guess what I did? I did the searching for you. I know those little fingers, they hurt. All the scrolling you're doing on senseless shit. So here, I did it for you. Here's the breakdown. Check it out.
There was a report in POGO, which stands for Project on Government Oversight. Disturbing report, but this is a multi-year collection of data on ICE detention. Previously confidential records from within the Department of Homeland Security's DHS Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties confirms years of inadequate medical care, extensive use of solitary confinement, mistreatment of transgender individuals, shortcomings in rape and sexual assault prevention and response, inaccessible services, and other problems disclosed by people detained by ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It shouldn't shock you, but this is how we treat people trying to seek refuge and trying to immigrate into this country. As of this July, ICE was detaining over 30,000 people, a number that has doubled since President Joe Biden's inauguration, but decreased from a record high of 55,000 people detained under President Donald Trump in 2019. I mean, I could go on and on here. I'd encourage everybody to read this report, as disturbing as it is. We need to understand what ICE is and why it needs to be abolished. It is a criminalization of regular human beings seeking to improve their lives by coming to the United States. There's been no signs that have shown that the barbarity has a lasting effect on keeping people from coming.
Right. Most people can't see what actually is going on here. And what actually is going on is what I've been saying. It's a massive, basically, Moloch worshipping death cult that is basically working for a consciousness field that's trying to destroy all life and all the souls on Earth. And that's what's really going on.
Anyway, have you ever heard of the Zephyr Plan?
Allegedly, David Goldberg was a researcher with a White House insider source, as well as intelligence officials. David was Jewish and Zionist and was horrified in 2019 after learning of Zionist plans through White House memos and other internal documents describing two projects, Project Pogo and Project Zephyr, a two-stage plan. For Pogo, they would utilize TTID, Tag, Track, and ID. They would use this for dissidents, nationalists, patriots, anyone who would pose a long-term threat. They used YouTube gatekeepers, like Alex Jones, to create a space for alternative thinkers. They were all agents paid to put out truthful information to tag, track, and identify the people who were watching and interacting, basically using alt media influencers as honeypots. They then created databases of Americans who were awake. Project Zephyr, the second stage, the extermination. High-value targets would be taken out through kidnappings via a U.S.-based Israeli Defense Force, or ICE. The low-value targets would be taken out through viruses or other widely applicable means. At the time, they were working on COVID. Goldberg estimated the total number of dissidents to be around 15% of Americans, and that was in 2019. David posted his findings on his YouTube channel. His channel was then scrubbed. David Goldberg died on June 8, 2019, in his Brooklyn apartment. He was found by his neighbor dead on the floor, with foam coming out of his mouth and no apparent cause of death. No cause of death has ever been publicly released. His friends claim that the police took a lot of his things, much more than they should have for the situation. All data about David Goldberg has been scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah, it's a mass extermination plan that is very obvious now.
And so now, here's the Cosmic Truth commentary on that on the video posted earlier. Check it out.
So while we've been gaslit with so much hopium after all these years, it's come to my attention that we might have been played in the most evilest, most epic royal way possible. Again, TikTok, everything that I'm saying here is just for entertainment purposes. None of it is real. It's all satire. Check this video out, y'all.
This is it. This is what the documents reveal. There are too many people waking up. There are too many Americans, more and more of them, that are suspicious of Israel. More and more Americans aware of Zionism. But that has changed. And you know that has changed. They know this is happening. They are very concerned about it. The main part that you really need to know, though, is they have a plan for all of this. There is discussion within these documents. If you are watching these channels, if you are informed, if you are awake on these issues, they want to tag you, they want to track you, and they want to know exactly who you are. In the documents I have now from 3 months ago, they are saying the amount of people they have to eliminate is too large. It is too many. We are talking about millions of Americans. And this is where we see their plans are changing. And they are going to initiate something that is devastating and that is extremely frightening. And based on what I can see in the documents, we're talking about power outages along with a purge. They're going to come in, they're going to take you out of your home, and they're going to put you into a military vehicle or whatever, a van, and drive you away and place you into a camp. It is a very, very big operation that they're planning. It is millions of Americans. They will do it under the cover of night, under the cover of blackness, during one of these planned blackouts.
Don't attack the messenger, I'm just giving you the message, y'all. The guy that you just heard, his name is David Goldberg. If you must know, several months after this video was released, the dude gone. So that says a lot. Now I need for you to pay very close attention to everything that you're hearing right now. Let's run it.
The message for today, brothers and sisters, is entitled The King Alfred Plan, the extermination of blacks in America. Prepare your psyche. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go back approximately 40 years ago. Between the years of 1960 and 1964, an organization called the National Security Council. Have y'all ever heard of that before? National Security Council developed a government program called the King Alfred Plan. This program actually details the arrest, detention, encampment, and extermination of the black and Hispanic or Latino population of this country. You need to understand the drastic measures that have been strategically designed for our our destruction. President Carter ordered that a 3-year study on how to reduce the world's population be implemented. This program or study was called Global 2000. The report to the president, quote, that there will be zero population growth for the whites on earth by the year 2000. Y'all hearing this? World model number 3, which calls for massive famine. Did y'all hear what I said? Now you understand. I hope you do. You see, brothers and sisters, the point is almost here. Mark my word. To incite rioting and revolution among blacks and other people of color in the world. The point is almost here, where the President of the United States will issue his order for the emergency. The King Alfred Plan.
Well, there it is, guys. I'm just giving you what the Great Spirit of Ma'at has revealed to me, and I'm just sharing it with you. So what do you think about this? Make sure to drop your comments below, and let's get this conversation started, y'all. Because remember, the truth doesn't need permission to exist, only courage to be spoken. Stay rooted in who you are, even if the world trembles when you speak.
So now that you got the gist of that, here's a couple of more. Project 2025 and Project Esther. Check it out.
This is important. The same right-wing group that wrote Project 2025, the blueprint for Donald Trump's second term, is already rolling out what comes next. They're calling it Project 2026. Very creative.
Who is behind this? The group behind both plans is the Heritage Foundation. During the campaign, Trump claimed he didn't know who they were. But now, many of the authors of Project 2025 are running major parts of his administration. What Project 2025 did. Project 2025 laid out plans to expand presidential power, gut the federal workforce, slash social programs, strip civil and reproductive rights, supercharge mass deportations. By the end of 2025, more than half of Project 2025 had already been implemented. That wasn't a theory. That was a test run. What Project 2026 is about. Now the Heritage Foundation is pivoting to Project 2026, calling it a golden age. Here's what their new agenda openly calls for. Dismantling what they label the deep state, centralizing power in the presidency, eliminating the Department of Education, forcing proof of citizenship to vote nationwide, ending abortion access across the country, rolling back climate protections, expanding mass deportations, weakening independent agencies meant to hold the president accountable. And that's not all. The Constitution rewrite. Heritage is even publishing its own 800-page rewrite of the Constitution. It's being written by conservative judges, many appointed by Trump, and several floated as future Supreme Court picks. This isn't policy advice anymore, it's institutional redesign. Follow the people. The same people who wrote Project 2025 are still everywhere. The budget director, the border czar, the FCC chair, immigration architects, intelligence officials. Trump once called Project 2025 ridiculous. Then he bragged online about meeting with its authors to decide which government agencies to permanently cut. The real point. This isn't just about Trump. Project 2025 was the takeover. Project 2026 is the consolidation. It's about building a system designed to outlive him.
Unfolding across the United States, and most people have no idea what it is, so let's talk about it. Project Esther is a 19-step blueprint for how to silence and dismantle the left, written by the same authors as Project 2025. These steps include things like purging so-called left-wing propaganda from schools, cutting off social media communication, and denying access to protests or demonstrations. The scariest part of this is the 28 necessary conditions of Project Esther, like number 12 that says not eligible for public funds, number 16 that says not permitted to make money, and number 23 focused on breaking the trust down within activist groups. The intent section says, "We will organize rapidly, take immediate action to stop the bleeding, and achieve all objectives within 2 years from when a willing administration occupies the White House." Based on this.
Now, as to Project Sapphire, people are saying that it's predictive programming, that it is pushing out fear-mongering, that it's something that was invented. Check it out.
The so-called Operation Zephyr and Project Pogo are disinformation campaigns meant to confuse cowards and fools into believing that a great noticing has been forced, so that way a powerful and rich group can usher in some end times prophecy. And it isn't logically self-evident. Further than this, it would entail culling or arresting hundreds of millions of people to actually make this real. And I don't think that it is real. I don't think that the Great Noticing was a inorganic phenomenon. I believe it happened because of tireless, dedicated actors continuously spreading this information online in every single recess of the internet for the last 4 decades that the internet has been publicly accessible. Beyond this, the implication that tech companies and data companies and the government are now spying on you as if they haven't been collecting data on you since 2001 is ridiculous. In fact, since the 1980s and 1990s with LifeLog and Total Information Awareness and DARPA programs, regardless, these people believe that, well, they want you to say things about them, but they're going to work tirelessly to spread misinformation, to suppress what you're saying, to take you to court, to bankrupt you, to take you off the internet, to deplatform you, to take your videos down, to demonetize you, to get you kicked out of school, to get you kicked out of a job. They will write hit pieces on you. They'll do all of this, but they really want you to talk about them. Oh, they're just doing all that so they can prove you right. It doesn't make sense, but most people spreading this information have not dedicated a moment of reflection to it. And this conspiracy started on the internet at the same time that the new Hasbara campaign, the Eighth Front War, started in earnest.
He mentions a culling? Yeah. That resonates. Now, let's check out the Hasbara propaganda. Listen to this.
How Americans would think about the Middle East. In 1983, Israel launched the Hasbara project, the aim of which was to ensure good press in the U.S. media. The goal was to train Israeli diplomats in communications and public relations. For example, they trained press officers in Israeli consulates in the U.S. to ensure that American journalists would write stories favorable to Israel. As one of these press officers said in the 1980s, he had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with journalists, and that a typical day would involve conversations with producers at leading news and TV talk shows about the content of the program. He described it as, in fact, quote, a joint formulation of ideas. This targeting of the American media goes on in the present day.
The Israeli press office is spitting out press releases, statements, information all the time. So you could sit in a bureau in Jerusalem and file stories from there all the time without really having to have much imagination or have much energy or have much drive. The Palestine Authority press office is almost useless, and they certainly aren't providing you with ready-made stories the way the Israeli press office is.
Because of lack of access to Palestinian officials in the West Bank and the sophistication of Israel's PR techniques inside Israel, a lot of times the stories are already tilted in Israel's favor before they ever leave American journalists sitting in the area.
When you're talking about how the story is covered from the U.S., the propaganda machine is even more effective than it is in Israel.
American news coverage is influenced by a complex set of institutional relationships. These influences can be thought of as a series of filters through which the news must travel before it emerges in the voices of news anchors. To understand how American news media report on the Middle East conflict, we need to understand how these institutional filters operate. Among the most important of these filters are the business interests of the corporations that own the mass media, interests that extend beyond the United States and across the globe to the Middle East. The economic interests of media owners are shared by political elites, politicians and policymakers who form a second filter. These political elites have the power to access and influence mainstream media and are themselves part of a system dominated by corporate money and interests. The strategic importance of the Middle East to these two groups is reflected in media coverage of the region and of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A third filter, Israel's own public relations efforts, further affects the coverage. The government of Israel employs some of the largest American public relations firms as image consultants to coordinate its political and media campaigns. 9 Israeli consulates help implement these PR campaigns by developing relationships with journalists and monitoring media outlets. Scores of private American organizations, both Christian and Jewish, reiterate the official line and organize grassroots opposition to any coverage deemed unfavorable to Israel. The most important of these is AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, widely regarded as the most powerful foreign lobby in Washington. This institutional framework of American business and political interests in combination with Israeli public relations shapes media coverage of the Middle East. At the same time, those progressive organizations opposing Israeli government policy, such as Jews Against the Occupation and Americans for Peace Now, rarely make it through these filters. Finally, if any news stories critical of Israeli policy do surface, there are a host of media watchdog groups that monitor and pressure journalists and media outlets, the most important of which is CAMERA.
You have activist organizations from the right, the pro-Israeli right, that very effectively, they say monitor, I would say harass journalists and their editors and try to make sure that the coverage is objective, by which they mean pro-Israel.
You can see all of the, kind of pressure groups who, write campaigns of letters to the editor against, news outlets and ask for, demand that stories be changed or that, that reporters be fired.
Well, here I put everything together because I know y'all are just too busy. But as you can see, the bottom line is to exterminate and remove the majority of the population or completely all of humanity. But I have to ask, why so many project this or project that, when each one all indicates the termination of humans? In my perspective, it's not new laws for us as they want us to think. It's new laws for them, a new rule, a new script, to let others that run this system know what to follow and what to do. Think of that. The question still remains as mentioned in the beginning of the video. Where is the outrage? I'll tell you why. Because now you are seeing the true 85% of the world's population is actually synthetics that have no empathy or source spark, acting like savages out in the streets, fighting and unaliving each other because their government or the royal bloodlines have abandoned them. And that is why you see ICE and all lab-grown humans having it out, fighting, unaliving each other. And they don't care. Not only are they pushing all these so-called project this and project that, in the event of all that doesn't work, they have a new thing coming or introducing to the public. And they save this for last. This should make your skin crawl. Check this out.
Yo, I know y'all done heard about the new strain they say that's going around. And what did I tell y'all? It's all a part of their plan. For one, why is that video going so viral? And it's like, come on, bro. If I even mention that one word, I'm getting violated off top. So you already know it's pushing a particular agenda. But not only that, I mentioned they will do this a long time ago. because they always have their last, very last resort, just in case all their other plans fail. And it correlates to the pandemic. So when they forced everybody to take that hot sauce, 19, it was clearly a weapon. Biological, obviously. Essentially, gene therapy. So it could open up your genes so they could input their own genes into you, making you their own kind. As I mentioned long before, Luciferase, in which is the hybrid human they're mixing with iron and clay. Essentially, we're talking about the Israelites. So as we all know, I said we've been in a war our whole life, the quote-unquote spiritual war, because we are spirits inside of human vessels. And the new spirits, which is the hybrid humans, are being judged right now. This is why Trump versus the demons is such a big thing right now, and the demons don't realize it now. We do. We can start to see the good, and the people that are good, that was bad, is starting to see they had the wrong perspective of everything. It's only the ones that wake up to the truth, that literally have their own brain power. They can think on their own. They're not in the hive mind created by the Matrix media. They're going to make it through while everybody else stays with the old reality, because they refuse to wake up to the truth, to move into a new world. They believe this old world is much better than anything could possibly ever be. I mean, just talk to them. Anything good, you say, it gotta be in heaven. It's never, and it can never be here. It can never be in their life. It's just in heaven, in another time, another place. They'd rather not start it here and make it there. So we see what all the demons are doing, you know what I mean, to keep our people brainwashed, keep them low frequency so they don't make it past the gates of heaven, which is really Christ consciousness. It's not Jesus Christ. It's the Christ that is possessed by Jesus, that we also possess, because it's a frequency that allows you to cross into heaven's gate. And while we're trying to cross to the heaven's gate, we have the evil people that knows what's happening, that been lying to everybody. The masterminds of this plan, the ones that still left, is trying to cross in there as well. But their goal was to make enough of the hybrid humans negative frequency, as in negative beings in general, so they can't make it. So it's overloaded and they get mistaken for a good person, because they are in human vessels as well. So when all their plans is finalized, and even before they all get caught, they all know, and I know, even Trump teams know, that they have weapons of mass destruction. Just like the weapon y'all heard they used in Venezuela, that literally cut off all electricity, all electronics, and started making niggas bleed from the mouth, the eyes, the nose, the head, everywhere. Literally put the whole city stuck on stupid. These people have weapons like that as well. They literally put them up everywhere around our whole country, literally, when they forced us to go into lockdowns for this plan that's happening right now. So that's really the biggest leverage the demons actually have over Trump. They have access to all the towers. They have access to all the frequencies that they can send out to literally start certain diseases in people's frequencies. And when this happens, people get sick. Family members become low vibrational because their family members are getting sick. And then this can send cities into certain positions, as in lockdowns. And when that happens, that's when these cities / states can make their own decisions. And it depends on what city or state you live in. Is it ran by the demons, or is it ran by Trump? And that will be a clear sign of everything we're about to see. Because it wouldn't surprise me if we do have a random outbreak and then the markets crash to kick off the reset. So I said all that to say this. Don't follow all these stories they really just pushing through media. Just take it as a sign of what they're about to do. Because that's all they're really doing, is telling us before they do it. And they're not going to tell you the truth on why certain things is happening. But me, I will try my best to tell you the truth, because I've been said this and we just see it playing out. So just know their last resort is hitting them frequencies through the towers, literally triggering people across the country and the world. Anyways, I hope y'all picked up what I put down. Y'all know how I keep it. Y'all be guys. Peace.
Well, now you can see step by step of everything they're trying to do. And it's all just to eliminate. That's all that they're wanting to do, is just to eliminate. But, like he says, you decide what side you want to be on. You got to shed out all the programming, the ego, the addictions, everything that has to do with being connected to this system, you got to let it go. You need to choose what side. Stop doing this half truth, half lies. Do this, your action says different. Quit playing both sides. I'm telling you, you people over there are playing both sides. You can't do that shit. You really can't. You still going to be taken out. You can't fool Mother Nature, man. You can't fool Mother Earth. You can't fool the serpents and the dragons, because they know who you are. You're going to get taken out. You're going to go. It's clean house time. The culling. Cleansing. That's what it is. We have no business out there with them. Let them be. And if you've noticed the weaponry that ICE carries, you think that's American? No. It's alien. It's from another world. They got weaponry that you can be obliterated right there on the spot. You'll be disintegrated. You disappear. You'd be pulverized. You know, kind of like the movie War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Yeah, that kind of shit. But always remember, you have the power to choose what timeline, reality, dimension you want to be on. All dimensions are right here. You just have to choose what to shed off, what to let go, what to break away. And I'm telling you, clean out your closet. Clean all those skeletons. Every little thing that you don't do in removing from your life is going to be used against you. They're watching you. They hear you. They're tracking you, what you're doing in your home and wherever you go. You can't fool nobody. Get a move on, people. Do what you need to do for yourself. Do your inner work. I don't care how hard it is. Get to it. Stay off this internet, those apps and everything. It's traps. It's nothing but a trap. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Shit is moving pretty quick nowadays. Now you have all the information, all in one video. And if you still have questions, well then use those little fingers to do the research instead of sitting there scrolling, doing stupid shit that's not going to help you, much less save you. Because nothing out there is going to save you. You got to save yourself. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. And a disclaimer. This is all for entertainment purposes only. It's satire. It is up to the audience to choose what's false and what's true. Thank you.